Dr. Job, it's such a privilege and an honor to have you today here in our studio. We've met a couple of times, and to tell you the truth, I never imagined or expected to be the one who will be interviewing you. And I know how busy you are. I know your schedule is very busy. So thank you very much for being here today with us and for sharing your story.
It is my great privilege to be here.
Thank you. 501 girls in an orphanage. It's quite a project. Could you please tell me how this dream came in your heart?
It is not actually a dream. You know, I am an evangelist for the last 47 years. I worked with the Voice of Martyrs with Reverend Richard Wurmbrand and Sabina Wurmbrand 33 years.
Yes.
I was even the president of the International Mission for the Voice of Martyrs. It is called International Christian Association. And then I worked in the East European countries, and we started a mission to Muslim world also. My youngest son was a medical student. When he was third year, there was a Hindu fanatic government ruling India, and they did not like my preaching because I stirred up people in millions. Mm-hmm. I went to city in India for preaching the gospel. In Mumbai, I had 500,000 people every day sitting for 3 to 5 hours. Even Times of India wrote in their front page, "Here is a magician from New Delhi preaching the gospel." So it was amazing. Then the Hindu fanatics thought I am a dangerous man for their religion. So they wanted to kill me, but actually they failed. They threw stones to my car, and the glass pieces hit my head several places. Since I was taking aspirin to dilute my blood due to heart problem, the blood was flowing like a fountain. But there was a medical doctor sitting inside the car that day. He jumped into the back seat and pulled the seat cover, made a bandage, called my wife, she is a doctor, medical doctor, and arranged the bed in the hospital, and he took me to the hospital. Then next day it was in the newspaper, I was alive. Then what happened? They went to the university where my youngest son Michael was studying, and they brutally killed him. It was on 26th June 1999. That was the time reports coming about the girl children, discrimination of girl children, 5 million abortion taking place because of the girl child, and in government hospitals only 5 million abortion. What about in private clinics? Maybe double. Then 2,000 girls are missing every day according to the United Nations Population Department's survey.
2,000 girls a day?
Are missing a day.
So.
And then 25,000 women who are married were burned alive in each year in North India alone because they don't bring dowry, money from her father's home to her husband's home. Mm-hmm. So that is the situation I saw. That in that time I was thinking, when these Hindu fanatics were killing Christian pastors and ministers, what their daughters will do. Mm-hmm. So actually it started taking Christian martyrs, girls only. I collected 31 from different parts of India. Yes. And started. But I never thought to increase it or make it big like 500 girls today.
So
I never expected it.
God bless that.
Yeah, it is a blessing, but at the same time it is built up on a broken heart.
Yeah.
You know, I lost my eldest son 2 years ago. He was a missionary in the Muslim world, means he was living in Dubai and working in Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Kuwait, Bahrain, all these Muslim countries, we had underground churches. Muslims who accepted Christ had their particular secret worship services. He was printing Bibles and Christian literature and distributing to the underground believers, and he was killed 2 years ago. So because of all these tragedies, I never always say these are tragedies. These are opportunities to glorify God.
Yeah.
So the orphanage is built upon my tears.
Yeah.
It is. I did not want to have an orphanage. I wanted to be a preacher all through my life, but now I have jumped into charity work, taking
Yeah.
all these girls.
I want to go back from the beginning. I know that the majority in India are Hindus. So are you coming from that background, or?
See, St. Thomas came to India. St. Thomas means one of the 12 disciples.
Yes.
He came in AD 52, worked 20 years. He was also martyred in India. So there was a Christian community from the first century onwards. And this Christian community is still there. Of course, when Babylon, today's Turkey, Iran and Iraq, that was the Christian center earlier in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th century. And 4th century, there was a persecution in these Babylon areas, means today's Turkey, Iran, Iraq.
Yes.
So these people came to India. So there is a community of Iranians already who were Christians in 1st, 4th centuries are already there in India. So St. Thomas Christians are there. Then they were called Chaldean Christians. So that area is called, that time it was called Chaldea. So they are also there. Then 9th century Syrians came from Antioch, and 12th century British came. Then Portuguese came 15th century. So Christian community is already there. We are 25 million.
And you were born in a Christian family?
Yes, my forefathers were Christians. We can trace 15th generation easily. We have historical records.
So from 1 billion people in India, 24 million are Christians?
Yes.
Well, praise God.
That is a minority in among majority.
It's one
but
third
it is
of
a big number if you take Netherlands, only 17 million
Yes.
population.
Yes.
So you can
Yes.
say it is bigger than Netherlands.
How did your ministry start?
I started when I was a young boy. Actually, I was studying. That time also I was a preacher.
How old were you by then?
And actually, for the first preaching I have done when I was 3.5 years old.
Okay.
I don't remember what I preached, but my mother used to tell me I preached about heaven, eternity, judgment and all these things. But only, see, I was living, my parents were living near a slum, big slum of our village. So my father goes to work. I always go and collect all these small children, 1 year, 1.5 year, 2 years, because there was no play school or nursery school. These children will be free there. Then when I invite to sit in a good house, they all come. So I used to preach to them. Then it's very interesting, my creative activity, you can understand. I pull a small stool, a table, and bring it as my stage, and I put a stick as my microphone stand. Then I asked my mother a tomato to put as a microphone. Then one of the clever boys came nearer the stage and pulled the stage, this small stool. I fell down and I broke my left hand. That I remember. All the rest I don't remember. But I became torture for Christ when I was 3.5 years old.
So you were an evangelist from very early ages.
Yes, yes. And I started like that, and then after my 12th grade, I thought to preach the gospel on the street. Then I am an evangelist all through my life. But since 1963, I am a full-time worker.
You started in India and then
Yes.
it went to nations.
Yes.
I read in your books,
Yes, yes.
129 nations.
129 nations
Yes.
I preached the gospel.
Praise God.
So that was a privilege, because since I was the president of the Voice of Martyrs, Richard Mumbran gave me all the privilege, because money is also necessary. I got the privilege to work in East European countries, African countries, and that is the way I came to Iran, Iraq, all these places.
So you've preached in Iran as well.
Yes,
Well, I hope you will preach once again.
if God allows.
Praise God. Praise God. You love Iran.
Yes,
know.
I told you, India was reigned northern, especially northern part by Iranians from 13th century to 16th century. See, if you come to India, whatever buildings, old buildings you want to see archaeologically, those buildings were built by Iranians. For example, one of the wonders of the world, Taj Mahal.
Yes. About India, could you please explain more about your country?
See, I told you, India is with the second largest in population after China. If you take America, our Indian area of the nation is only 1/3. But in population base, we are 4 times bigger than America. So this is the geographical and population strategy I am telling you.
Yes. And are people open for Christ?
Yes, people are open to Christ, Christian message, because the Hinduism itself is not a religion. Hinduism is a culture. So it accommodates all religions. Not only Christianity, Islam, every God they always accommodate. They want to worship God. Only when we say Christianity is the only way, the trouble starts.
So you have problems by
Yes.
preaching the gospel.
Yes, but originally Hindus are very nice.
You mentioned about one of your sons being killed
Yes.
in 1999, I believe. It was
Yes.
Michael. He was a
See?
medical student. He was 30 years old, and he was killed by Hindus.
Yes, because Hinduism is very good, but there are fanatic people in every religion. Politicians always cash that area, means using these fanatic people for their benefit. Majority Hindus are very polite and nice. Because these fanatics are controlling these people, politicians are attracted to catch these fanatics in their hands. This is the strategy of every nation. You take Iran, there also people are very nice, but few people control the nations.
Yeah, that's true. What about your second son?
See, second son is Michael, who died earlier. The eldest son died 2
John
years ago.
is
He was a
the oldest.
missionary.
Yes.
He was killed when he was 33 years old.
And what was the reason for that?
See, we don't know how he was killed and all the details. We got only dead body. I took the dead body from the airport of New Delhi. But he was the one who really worked for Jesus Christ more than I did it. Because Wurmbrand, when he came to my home, he was discussing we should wind up our organization because communism is no more. Now what we have to do? Our target is gone, is over. Means we are victorious. But then I told him, Islam is coming with its mighty power. Saudi Arabia give always 1/10 of their total income for propagation of Islam. So it will be coming as a mighty army to everywhere. So then he told me we should start a mission to the Muslim world. I told him communists were polite in one way relatively to the Muslim people, because they put Wurmbrand 14 years in prison. But Muslims don't believe in imprisoning people. They will send people immediately to heaven. So there will be a shortage of workers to work in Muslim world. And that time my elder son John, who just completed his computer course, said, Uncle Wurmbrand, if you allow, if you don't have people to work in Muslim world, he will go. He will go. But you know, Brother Jan Bohr, Dutch mission director, and I took him in 1996 to Kuwait first. There we started our ministry in Kuwait, then underground printing was established. Then he thought it is dangerous to be there, so his center was in Dubai. From his Dubai office, many Egyptian Christians, Jordanian Christians all joined with us to work, and they were the real workers with us. And we extended our ministry in Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and all these countries.
Yeah.
Finally, as a result, he is no more.
I would like to talk about forgiveness and grace and the fact, the power that has been moving you, keeping you going on about this, but in another program as the time is short. I just want to express this, that after losing two wonderful sons, God has given you more than 500 beautiful daughters in a country that girls are not appreciated a lot. So you have been a blessing to them. You are a father of 500 girls.
Yes, it is a privilege. You asked me, do you forgive those who killed my son? And I don't have any enmity to anybody, because we are on this world as representative of heaven for Jesus Christ. A short time. We are travelers to eternity. This is a short time to express our willingness to serve God, stand up on the behalf of kingdom of Jesus Christ. And in that time of this short time, we don't have any enmity to anybody, because we don't belong to this place. So we don't need to be enemy of anybody. And regarding grace, you asked, only the abundant grace keeps us in Jesus Christ. For example, Paul has written 13 or 14 letters, epistles. In that dramatically he has mentioned in 3 places about grace.
I would love to hear about that next time, in next program, because I'm sure you can give wonderful teachings on that, and many people in my country need the abundance of grace, learning how to forgive even when they suffer. So I would love to hear more about that on a longer session when we have more time. Thank you very much for being here today.
May God
so we'll
bless you.
continue again. Thank you
May
very
God
much.
bless.